Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It's Rabbi Stephen, Rob Shmuel Ben Yehoshua, Rashbi in the house. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you had a good Tu B'Shvat, however you celebrated. Hope you went out and hugged a tree. So, a couple of brief announcements, if you will. This Friday, February 14th, we will be having a special Friday night service. Actually, what's special about it is that it's going to be my wife, Rebbe Chris's birthday day, so we're going to have a special party. She's not going to be cooking. We're going to be getting some veg pizzas. We'll get a carrot cake, birthday cake for her, and please bring yourselves. No presents, just bring your presents, as per the email that we're sending out. So, all right, let's discuss this week's portion, which is Jethro. And in this particular portion, Jethro, who is Choten Moshe, who is Moses' father-in-law, comes in and says, heard what you did with Pharaoh. It's great. I just want to congratulate you. I brought your wife and your kids here for you that had been left, behind because of safety reasons, I guess. But here they all are, one big happy family. Jethro sees Moses officiating and adjudicating everything. Okay, he's got a whole line of people, and Jethro, my joke, you're going to be here for 40 years, you do this, why don't you delegate it? The first real discussion about delegation of power, middle management, captains of thousands, captains of hundreds, captains of 10 that can hear less and minor issues, and to adjudicate, leaving Moses is free. And it's interesting that this is the introduction to the 10 Commandments that's going to form the basis of this beautiful religion we have called Judaism. So Moses is going up to Mount Sinai, and everybody's told to prepare themselves. You're all going to hear it. Judaism says that, God revealed the 10 Commandments in front of 2.5 million people, all the Israelites. Some people say that he only revealed the first commandment, and that it was too much for the people, and they said, no, we can't handle it. You listen, and, we're good to go on this. So, let's discuss the 10 Commandments, I know in this year. So the first commandment, I am the Lord your God that brought you out of the land of Egypt, okay? This is the ultimate affirmation. God is saying, I'm it. I am Hashem. I am God. There are no other gods, no other main gods, no other original gods beyond me. And that's it. And this is basically addressing the idolatry and paganry that was very, very prevalent at the time, where people worship trees, they worship sun, moon, whatever, anything that influenced their life, they elevated to the point of a god. We talked about how the Egyptians, their whole mission in life, the kings, was to be over the gods, to control the gods. They control nature. They wanted to be gods themselves, and they had that aura about them. But this says, no, one God, that's it. Okay, according to, like as Kabbalah says, Ein Sof. You can't know what God is. We have very limited consciousness and nervous systems and perceptions. We can't know what God is. That's who he is. Now, some people believe that you can be a good Jew and not believe in God. What if you do? What if you take all reference to God out of the Torah? What do you have? You have a very beautiful code of ethics. You do. And you can certainly observe them, but the point of God is that this is God's creation. It's not that if you don't do it, God's going to zap you or anything. It means that it comes from the original creator of the universe. It gives it more verification. The fact that that's where all these laws come from. Gives it some recognition, if you will. Okay, second commandment. Now, I'm God. The first one was I'm God. The second one is you don't have any gods before me. Now, when you look at that, you think on the surface, you think, okay, no idols, no statues, we don't worship any beings, the sun, the moon, we don't worship astrology. We believe in astrology, and we acknowledge that, maybe the same forces that put our lives together, this great jigsaw puzzle of life, is the same thing that moves the planets to where they are when great events happen. But the point is that the planets don't control anything. They're under the same forces and influence that we as human beings are, okay? But the modern interpretation has said there are other gods that people worship, right? Money, power. People will do anything for power. They'll lie, they'll cheat. They'll rearrange, reality in their minds, to do this. Okay, people worship other people. They worship, let's face it, celebrities. Some people just, you look at reality TV. That's, kind of a worship of sorts. So we say no. You want to admire people? Go for it. But God is it. You one God. Third commandment, do not use the Lord's name in vain. Now, what does this mean? People say, darn it, let's make this PG-13, okay? Okay, that's not really using God's name in vain. Using God's name in vain is to swear, and there's a whole tractate on the Talmud Shavuot about oaths and swearing, okay, oaths and vows. You know, when you swear to God, it's like you're taking on an additional commandment. You say, I swear I did not take your money. People found out that you took the money, guess what? It's a pretty heavy punishment, not just because you stole, but because you swore to God that you didn't take it. Okay, that's really what this means. You don't swear to God unless you are making a commitment, and that's it. Okay, it's serious stuff. Fourth commandment, honor the Sabbath. Okay, now, in Exodus, Zachor et HaShabbat v'yikadshehu. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. In Deuteronomy, in the second retelling in the Mishnah, that's what Mishnah means. It means the second retelling. Okay, Deuteronomy means the second. Okay, retelling. It says Shamor et HaShabbat. Guard, protect the Sabbath. Which one is it? Some people say it was both. God was able to utter both of those words, Shamor v'Zachor, as we say in Lecha Dodi. And by the way, this is why we use 2 Shabbat candles, Shamor v'Zachor, 2 candles for Shabbat. But God was able to utter them together at the same time, and people heard distinctly, the people that were there, which basically is all of us. When you become Jewish, when you're born Jewish, or when you make the conscious decision to become Jewish, you were at Mount Sinai. You're taking on that Brit, that covenant. So, all the people there, including us, heard the same thing. It's the same thing. Guard and remember. Remember and guard the Sabbath, that you will be holy. God created the universe in 6 days. He rested on the seventh as a role model. Basically, why do we do this? Okay, you need rest. Let's face it, the practical reason. You need rest. You can't just work day and night like the slaves did in Egypt, like any slaves did back then. You know, you need rest to rejuvenate yourself. But you also need Shabbat to get in touch with your spiritual side, to study Torah, you know, to accept it, to know it, to study it, you know, so you live Torah, so you live a good, you know, holy, righteous life. Righteous means doing what is right. Part of my sermon this Friday, and please tune in. If you can't be at services this Friday, then you know it's going to be on my website. I'm going to be sending it out in my email too. So yeah, that's what it is. It's to take a breather from the physical and acknowledge there's a spiritual that basically oversees the physical. What did the patriarchs do when they died? They didn't die. I mean, it was when Moses died, it was no big deal. For us, it's terrifying. Death. Oh my gosh. We lose our awareness of who we are. We lose our bodies. We can't do anything. We're just this cold thing in the ground. But the bottom line is that there's something beyond that. We're made in God's image. There's this part of us that's immortal forever, and the patriarchs recognize this. So for them, it was not a big deal because they were with God all along, and that's where we're going to be after we die. And is there reincarnation? Some of us think so, and we'll find out in due measure, right? But the point is to get in touch with that spirituality, because that's really what the universe is all about. It's that spirituality. Okay, fifth commandment, honor thy father and thy mother. And that includes Torah scholars that teach your kids. It's kind of like being a parent. It really is. Why? Because the family is the basic unit of society. That's where you get all your education. That's where you get your morals and your ethics. That's where you're taught that. What if you have parents that don't teach you moral and ethics? Do you still honor them? Yes, you do. You don't listen to them if they tell you to desecrate Shabbat. You don't do it, but you'd still honor them. Okay, maybe you had a parent that wasn't that great to you, and you say a yahrzeit when they die? Yeah, you do. You just do it because that's, like I said, the basis of society. Then you've got the next 4 commandments. Do not kill, do not murder. There's justifiable killing in war and to protect yourself, but you don't go out and kill yourself. And by the way, part of this is you don't go out and tell a tale, because they say when somebody is embarrassed, the blood goes to their face, and that's kind of like a living death. No adultery. Okay? The marriage vows is sacred. That's the basis of the family, basic unit of society. You don't interfere with that. Don't steal. And that includes kidnapping. Not just going to somebody's house and taking, but kidnapping somebody, making them do something that they don't want to do. Do not bear false witness. Again, we're back to the oaths and the vows. You do not bear false witness. You are expected to be honorable. You don't go around spreading rumors. You don't go into court and say, well, I know this person, they're honest. I didn't see them do it, but they probably are good to go. So I'm just going to testify that. You want to go testify to their character? Go for it. But don't say that they did something when you didn't see them do it. Finally, do not covet your neighbor's anything. God gave you what he gave you for a reason, or what she gave them what they gave them for a reason. Deal with what you have. Doesn't mean you can't grow and expect more, but don't want to take what they got. So, all right, so that's the 10 Commandments in a nutshell. We'll be having services again Friday. Finally, I'm going to mention this. If anybody would like to not receive my emails or receive this every week, please let me know. I will respect your opinion. No questions asked. I'm doing this because I love to teach and I love to talk about Torah, and I love it when people give me feedback that they're learning. It's what it's all about. But if you don't want to receive anything, please let me know. I would be happy to take you off my list. No questions asked. But in the meantime, either way, have a good Shabbat. Hope to see you at services, or please enjoy Shabbat wherever you go.